Hey guys, welcome back to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can come and hang out with me every time I upload a video. All right, I know I'm late. I know I'm late. I know I am late. Sorry. This is my review, Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 2. All right, let's just get right on into it. Derek and Katie. All right, all the couples start off in their respective suites. The bride with the bridesmaids, the grooms with the groomsmen, the families come in. Everyone pretty much is the same. Some families spend more time and did more talking than others. So each couple, I won't get into the whole family interaction because some of them pretty much was just there and not really talkative. But let's start with Derek and Katie. Um, so Derek mom showed up, and if you guys remember in the last episode, he stated how his mom was not very supportive due to her religious beliefs. She is a Catholic, and yeah, she just was not feeling this whole process. So I believe she not only mentioned that she didn't support it, but that she would not be there. She did show up. And they had this very sweet heart to heart moment where she explained how, although she did not approve of the process and him being on this show and the way he was going about it, she did have a change of heart. She has come around, because that's her baby boy. She loves him. She wants to see him happy. And, I'm sure it hurt him, even though he know his mom's beliefs and that, her reason for not being there. I'm sure it hurt deep that um, she wasn't going to be there. So for her to show up, pretty much was just icing on the cake for him. Anyway, so they had their moment, and then they're showing Katie and her bridesmaids. Her parents show up, and her dad had a moment where now I think I'm beginning to see where she get her crying from, because dad was just all tears. Bless his heart, he was choked up. She basically, they play like a little voiceover clip of her, of course, talking about her ex and her struggling with, it's already an overwhelming process, and then to have this ex-boyfriend try to come back into the picture. Now you guys know my last review, I was not feeling Katie at all. I just wasn't, because I felt like, I wasn't feeling that she was still dealing with this guy while she was applying and trying to get on this show. I just feel like, cut that off, deal with that, put that away, and then move on. Like, don't intermingle your mess, basically. But anyway, so they were showing her and her dad, right before they walked down the aisle. They're downstairs, and she's pacing back and forth. Oh my God, I don't know. Should I do this? I don't know. I can't believe I'm doing this. Now, if you've been watching this show for a while, even if just watching last season, you will know, or you will soon learn if you continue to watch this show, that that's common. It's common. A lot of the brides, if not all of them, do this. Oh my God, I can't believe, what am I doing? Some of the grooms too, but mainly the brides. And I almost believe that it's kind of scripted, or they watch past episodes and think that's what they're supposed to do and say, so that's what they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them, that's how they're really feeling and what they're really thinking, but for the most part, it's kind of, they all do it basically. So I don't even raise an eyebrow to it at this point. I'm like, I'm just waiting to see when, who and when are they going to do the whole pacing back and forth, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. So Katie didn't disappoint, she did it. um when Derek was coming down the aisle, everyone seemed pleased and happy and impressed with how he looked. 'Cause Derek is a good looking guy. He gets down to the altar, and then here comes Katie. At first, Derek, his expression was kind of, I don't know, like blank. He was just looking. But when she got closer, he did seem to be happy with what he saw. So, needless to say, they were both attracted to each other. Um, Katie's dad, he was in tears, and everyone pretty much was in tears. For some reason, I actually, well, I don't know, maybe I should save it for later. But this episode, I think Katie kind of redeemed herself to me. I wasn't feeling her at first, but I have to say I do like her and Derek together. So it comes time for them to recite their vows, and I just thought that Derek's vows were just so sweet and seemed so sincere. I mean, as sincere they can be for a stranger, from one stranger to another. I mean, but you would think that they have been together for a while and went through the traditional route of being together, dating, getting engaged, and married, because honestly it seemed it just seemed natural to me. Like, they didn't seem awkward. First, of course, when they introduced themselves, and the little um nervous laugh, but once they started getting into their vows, they really seem like this was a natural course for them. Um, Everyone was emotional, including Derek's groomsman. Is it Kang or Kong? He got emotional. Everyone was just emotional and in the moment. So after the ceremony, where the couple have a few minutes to be together before they actually go to the reception, again, they seemed very natural, very comfortable with each other. They were, they were vibing off of each other. When they started talking about what they do for a living, and other than the actual conversation of them asking each other questions, you would have never known that they had literally just met at the altar. So everything was flowing. Um, During the pictures, I had to laugh because Katie reminded me of Amber from last season when they kept kissing, and when she was doing her little confessional, and she was saying, "Oh, his lips are so soft, I can kiss him all night." And if y'all remember, Amber was like, she stayed kissing Matt, and that's what she was saying too. Like, "Oh, his lips are so soft, and I could just kiss him forever." So, yeah, she reminds me a lot of Amber with the crying and the whole soft lips and kissing and all of that. But yeah. So at the actual reception, when they were together at the table and they started talking about, things that they wanted to do, and they both, had Thailand on their bucket list of places that they wanted to go. They just seem in sync. They did. And I think, I don't know, I really like them together. I really do. I like the fact that, well, not like the fact, but I noticed that during the ceremony, when the officiant was talking about, what each family had to say about the bride and the groom, and I noticed that Katie's family mentioned her being diabetic. And then at the reception, when it was just the two of them at the table, and they were talking about how they were so hungry, everybody else is being served but them, and they had the bread. And I think Katie was trying to give him the bread. Anyway, they were going back and forth about that. And she was saying, she doesn't do a lot of carbs because she's diabetic, you will soon see, and blah, 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 as far as her insulin is concerned. Um, And he was so. I, I think that, this is just in my head. I think her and her family call themselves kind of easing him into that, so that it's not just bam at the honeymoon, on the honeymoon when he see her injecting herself, or like not really bam, here it is. This is what I have to do every day, type of deal. They kind of ease him into it so that he's not so shell shocked. He didn't seem phased at all. He didn't seem phased at all. He was like, okay, like it is what it is. I get it. I'm not bothered by it. I'm here. And I think that really put her at ease. Not that she wasn't before, because like I said, they seemed really, really natural and comfortable with each other. But after that, she seemed to really just relax. And I loved it. Um, so they did a little dance, and they were looking into each other's eyes, and I mean they were embracing, they kissed. I'm telling you, I'm gonna say I'm almost scared to call it. I'm almost scared to call it, but I think they'll be okay for now. I think if she just leave that ex boyfriend where he is, do not mention him. Well, you know what? She can mention him because I think it's important to discuss your past and what brought you to the point of coming on this show. So I'm okay with her mentioning her ex boyfriend, but just in the realms of that was my last relationship and it didn't work out and this is why I'm here. Not get all into deep about he was calling me and I don't know, because what I don't want is for him to see, think, or get the idea like I did that hey, you were still dealing with this guy while you were applying for this show. You know what I mean? Like I just talk about it as far as past relationships is concerned, and then keep it moving and focus on your new husband and your marriage. But to close it out with Derek and Katie, I like them together. She redeemed herself. I'm kind of coming around to liking her, in comparison to my last review. I think they look cute together. They don't seem awkward. They seem very comfortable. And so, yeah, I'm cool with them. I like them together. All right. Jessica and Austin. This is I call them the quirky children of the corn, okay? Because that's what they give me. They give me that quirky, just Amish type. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Please do not take offense if you're Amish. They remind me of children of the corn, okay? Whatever. All right. So Jessica and Austin. Again, they have their moment with their wedding party. Jessica and her sister talked, and they joked about, possibly swapping gowns because she was so nervous and didn't want the spotlight on her. So let's swap gowns. You go up there, and no one would ever know. Um, Austin meets with his grandmother and his mom, and they have their little powwow, and so then we are at the ceremony or getting ready to walk down the aisle. Okay, maybe it's just me, and please let me know. Leave a comment below and let me know if you noticed the same thing. To me, when Austin walked down the aisle, I felt like Jessica's friends and family did not approve. I saw some women in the audience. They were kind of snickering, they were whispering to each other and kind of giving him this look. Like you can tell the difference in when, let's say, when Derek walked down, when Brandon walked down, and I'll get to them in a minute. Yeah, I know I like to say my hot mess couples for last. I try to. But you can tell the difference in how people react to when they're coming down the aisle. And with Austin, I just noticed a big difference. Um, and it's funny because they played a clip of Jessica talking about her ideal man as far as looks. And she said she like tall, brown hair and a beard. And she was saying that, she hoped that she doesn't show disappointment, like that is not is noticeable if she gets someone that has, blonde hair, no facial, no beard and things like that. And I'm like, oh my God, she's not gonna like Austin, because I think Austin looks better with short hair, but I mean, he's not gorgeous. However, I think Austin and Jessica are pretty much on an even level as far as looks and personality, to be honest. Anyway, so that was just my observation. I felt like they weren't really feeling him when he came down the aisle. He seemed really nervous. He kept running his fingers through his hair, or pushing his hair back. He kind of did that throughout the episode. Jessica comes down, and he seemed like he liked what he saw. She was just giggling and laughing the whole time. He, to me, broke the ice and kind of, he joked his way through it, but it wasn't like an obnoxious, irritating joking. You know how some people can joke and it's like, oh my God, stop already. Like Derek's dad at the, was it Derek's dad? Yeah, at the reception. His jokes were just laying flat, if falling flat rather. But if you're funny, Austin has this, I don't know, something about him that you kind of sort of overlook the appearance. And not that he's butt ugly, but you guys know what I'm saying. He's one of those guys that's not the greatest looking, but his personality draws you in. And so I loved his sense of humor. Jessica obviously did, because she giggled the whole time. But his vows were pretty cool too. I liked them. I liked what each family had to say about them. And when they got to their little alone time prior to the reception, they seemed to hit it off too. It was a little bit of awkwardness there. The word of the day is awkward and awkwardness. Y'all gonna hear that quite a bit. But there was a little bit of nervous energy and awkwardness there. But I think they navigated pretty well. Like I said, Austin, he has that sense of humor. Her laughing, and giggling. They just seem to click. They seem to click. We Things that she said later on let me know, or made me feel like she was not attracted to him. But you didn't get that from her body language, if that makes any sense. And I have to say I like that, because a lot of times when people are not attracted to someone, or not feeling another person, they tend to, sometimes they could be rude, not intentionally, but they could just be rude, or it's all over their face. You would have never guessed that. And I'm just guessing that she was not attracted to him, but you would have never known that from her body language, because she stayed engaged with him, never missed a beat, um laughing and just being into him. What made me say that I don't feel she was attracted to him was, during the pictures, when she asked him, did he always wear his hair long? And he was like, I've cut it. And he was like, why, you don't like it? I don't think she said no. She was just like, oh, it's okay. I was just asking. It was just a question. And then there was another time. God, what was the other time when she asked him? She said something else about his hair. God, I forgot. But she said something else about his hair. And oh no, it wasn't. She was doing her confessional. Sorry, guys. She was doing her confessional, and she was talking about his personality. And she was like, he keeps me laughing. He just keeps getting cuter by the moment, or by the minute. That was the other comment that made me feel like, okay, she wasn't initially attracted to him, but like I said, his personality, his sense of humor, she's looking beyond that. Which, like I said, I like that she's open and giving it a chance. Like, okay, I'm not attracted to him, but I really, really like him. So let's just see where this goes. Unlike Brandon, who I'm going to get into later. Um, yeah, so they seem to have the same type of sense of humor, personality. When it was time for them to dance, they were doing the whole, like, in elementary when that little awkward dance that you do. Really cute. I like them together. I feel like they're on the same level, honestly, across the board as far as looks, personality, sense of humor. So I think they'll be okay as well. All right, now let's get into Brandon and Taylor. All right, so I'm gonna skip all over the whole. Well, no, as far as them being in the room with their wedding party, and their parents and all of that. Taylor, she didn't have much going on in her room. Her mom came in there, telling her she think her dress is too big, whatever. It wasn't a lot of conversation going on there. And Brandon's suite, Brandon's in there, and his groomsman is in there writing his vows. Now, if you need help, I get it. I understand, especially because you are marrying someone you have absolutely no clue who they are, how they are. It's kind of hard to write some heartfelt vows. But at the same time, they don't have to be these romantic, heartfelt vows. Everyone else seemed to manage. You talk about what you promise to do as a spouse, not necessarily, of course, you wouldn't be able to write vows on love and feelings and all of that because you don't have any for this person yet. So I wasn't feeling the fact that he had his groomsmen, or was his best man writing his vows. I wasn't feeling that at all. It was like he didn't even put forth an effort. Um, when he came down the aisle, Taylor's family, you could tell they were feeling him. They were like, "Oh, he's cute." Everyone liked Brandon. Everybody thought Brandon was cute. He is cute. Brandon, I'm not really feeling his personality. Brandon comes off like, excuse me. Brandon comes off like he's a try hard. Like he's always on. If that makes any sense, because the way he looked and his demeanor says one thing, but then when he's talking, he's I don't know. I can't explain it. So, for example, when he introduced himself to Taylor's, was it her mom and aunt or mom and grandmother? And he comes over and he's like, oh, hey, giving him a hug. Oh yeah, bring it in. It's like he's trying to, and that's not slang, but I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But anyway, Taylor comes down. Brandon's smiling, and it seemed like the closer she got to him, the more his smile just turned to a straight stone face. You could tell he was nervous. He did say he suffered from anxiety, so I didn't judge him too much on that. Um, Now, when it got to the part where the officiant was reading the statements from their families, hers was sweet. Um, just very sweet and endearing. You could tell her family and friends think very highly of her. The way they described her, as far as her not only being beautiful, but having a brain, being ambitious, having goals, hardworking. Then we get to Brandon and his family. The first thing is he's very blunt. He's very blunt. He doesn't filter his words, regardless of who you are. I was like, wait, what? And you could tell he was embarrassed because he had this look like, I can't believe, like, I can't believe they said that. I was shocked because even if that is his personality, which I believe it, that's not something you write or give the officiant to read to his new wife on their wedding day in front. Like, what? No, that's something y'all have a conversation with after they're married and y'all have y'all breakfast together or have a family dinner and you're like, girl, let me tell you how he is. And not even then, like you don't get into details and make it seem like it's a negative thing. You can kind of joke about it just to give her a heads up, like this is what you're getting yourself into. But I didn't like that, and to me, it says a lot. Like they honestly, okay. After they said that, then it was he struggled to find a woman with substance, with beauty and substance. Um, and he fights every night to show his love or prove his love or something like that. It was to me, it there was no thought into it. It wasn't, and it was like, damn, y'all didn't have any positive things, traits, or anything to say about him. Okay, so let's get into the vows. Brandon goes first, and I just cringed when he started. Let's see. Taylor, the first time I saw you, I knew that I wanted you. What? And even his mom and grandmother looked at each other like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, dude, you just saw her like literally 2 minutes ago. You wrote your vows, or your homeboy wrote your vows minutes to an hour before the ceremony. So how are you saying the first, and that's what I mean by he put forth no effort. Like you got your homeboy writing this generic something he probably pulled up, he googled and just put pieces of vows together. Like you didn't even try. And you can tell. And then he tried to clean it up by saying, and minutes later, I still feel the same, or I still think the same, whatever. I'm like, ugh. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that. Anyway, um, so the ceremony's over. They go and have their little moment together prior to the reception, and you talking about awkward. Okay, let's get into okay. So now y'all know my last review. I said that I think Brandon is gay. Well, no, I think Brandon has a lot of feminine traits. Okay, I'm not saying that he's gay. He could be, or he could be bisexual, whatever. But to me, he is very feminine. He has a lot of feminine traits. Okay, and again, I said it could possibly be because he was raised by women. And a lot of times, guys that are raised by nothing but women, they tend to take on feminine traits sometimes. Okay. And it's just because that's all they're around, that's all they see, and they tend to take on those mannerisms. Anyway, so they're sitting down, they're drinking champagne, and they're talking about the ceremony. So Brandon goes into, yeah, I was a little nervous. I was scared that a dude was going to come down the aisle and I was going to, I was going to head for the exit. What? What? Like, what straight dude, Brandon, unless you put down on your application either or, there is no way and I know, trying to break the ice, there could be a little joking, but nah, He was joking, but he was serious. Like, what? If, like I said, if you didn't put down either or, there would be no mistake and there would be any guy coming down the aisle to come and marry you. So he says that she smiled, but I mean, you could tell she was like, you could tell the wheels were spinning in her head. Like, why would you think that? But she laughed. She laughed it off. And then he says, if he wasn't attracted to her, he was like, if I wasn't attracted to you, I would have respectively walked off. That's what I mean by the difference between him and what's her name, Jessica. Jessica obviously was not attracted to Austin, and I'm basing that off of her comments. But you would have never guessed by her body language. Like, you don't be rude to a person because you're not attracted to them. You knew that coming into a situation like this where you're marrying a total stranger, there is a possibility that you may not be attracted to this person. So why the hell? I don't know. I just, Brandon turns me all the way off. I think he's arrogant, cocky, rude for no reason at all. No reason at all. So she was like, "Okay, well, I'm glad you didn't run off." And he was, "Oh, no, 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 you good, you good. I like what I see." It was just he he just irritated me. He irritated me this episode. Anyway, so they talk about their jobs, what they do. She was saying how, she likes to go out and was hoping that he wasn't a homebody. And when she asked him, he was like, "Nah, I like to go out, but I have to tell you, I like my Xbox, which to me, Brandon seems like a homebody. He does. What else? She noticed the tattoo on his finger, and she asked him about it. He let her know that it represents his brother who was killed in gang violence when he was young, and that's why he have it. So they had that little moment where she was like, "I'm so sorry to hear that." Um, so at that moment, that pretty much like the only time he was serious. The rest of the time, he was just being I know, have fun. He said he had anxiety. They both said, "Hey, it's awkward, whatever." I get it. Anyway, after that, and she even said, like in her confessional, she was like, "I'm wondering, like, does he even like me?" You know. Anyway, so they get to the reception. They're at the table, and she's just constantly telling him it's okay. You don't have to be awkward. It's fine. We're here. We're doing this together. Whatever. They go and have their first dance, and child, Brandon, really? How do you not know how to sway side to side? Like, that's something you do in sixth grade. You know how you had your little sixth grade dance? That's something you do in the sixth grade. Y'all swing side to side. The little boy that you with, he tried to cop a feel, and grab a butt cheek, kiss you on the, kiss you on your face, and try to sneak and do it before the old mean math teacher come over. How you a grown ass man and you don't even know how to sway side to side? We're not talking about get out there and do the Chicago two step and y'all doing the waltz and the foxtrot. We not expecting all of that. But how do you not know how to sway side to side? So you could tell Brandon he strikes me as a type. He doesn't like people to see his faults. He doesn't like for people to see he doesn't have it going on or he doesn't know how to do something. That's just what I get from him. Um because most people would just played it off, but you could tell it bothered him. Um when his grandmother came up, she wanted to dance. Grandma was like, "Listen, grandma got out there and did better than him." For real, grandma was dancing by herself. But that was a cute moment, between him and his grandmother. I I'm gonna have to say I'm not feeling Brandon this episode. Now things changed because y'all see how it was with Katie last episode to this episode. So Katie is cool right now, but Brandon, no, I'm not feeling him. I think he's obnoxious. I think he's rude, and the fact that his family put that down as something to be mentioned to his new wife in front of everybody on their wedding day at the altar is crazy to me. But that's who he is. That's who he is. That's what they told. So, anyway, that is my review. Sorry it's late and it was all over the place. You guys know I tend to go off a little bit. But that's my review. Married at First Sight, season 10, episode 2. We have two couples left. We have Michael and Mika, and Zach and Mindy. And I already see drama. I don't think Zach is gonna like Mindy. I don't think he's gonna be attracted to her. Mika was having a meltdown over her dress, and yeah. But we'll get into that next episode, next review. Thank you guys so much for being patient and coming back and hanging out with me. Please leave your comments below. And until next time, take care.